Parents have concerns here in Sun Prairie. I'm Tanasia Shaw, and I'm breaking down what Sun Prairie parents are asking from the Sun Prairie Area School District.
And as we look to kick off the weekend, we could be dealing with another round of severe thunderstorms. Not only the threats, but potential rain totals as we go into the weekend in the full forecast.
And later, how the Madison Public School Foundation is helping teachers and staff get ready for the upcoming school year.
It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson.
We begin in Sun Prairie, where the school board is holding a meeting tonight.
This comes in the wake of ongoing criticism from the community after the dean of students at Sun Prairie West High School was charged with child sex crimes more than 2 weeks ago. For more, let's head to Tanasia Shaw, who's live outside of that meeting. Tanasia, we hear there were some parents there as well.
Hi, Sarah and Eric. Yes, there were about 10 parents out here. I guess you could call this like a small organizing or protest outside of Central Heights Middle School here in Sun Prairie. And earlier at 5, I talked to a parent who was setting up this protest, and they had a list of demands that they're asking. And to summarize it, I would basically say they're asking for accountability from the school board. Parents right now, they feel like that they're not hearing the truth from the school board, and they feel like as elected officials, school board members are not doing their jobs. And they met here at Central Heights Middle School minutes before a closed session meeting with school board members and the superintendent. And in that meeting, we don't know exactly what they talked about, and that is because of Wisconsin state law. So in the state of Wisconsin, you can only have a closed session meeting for a few reasons. One of them is for things like talking about employees' promotions, terminations, and performance reviews. Another is discussing sensitive information like medical history, or if they are seeking legal counsel from the school for the school board, or talking about things like pending investigations. Now, right now, the former dean of students at Sun Prairie West High School is under an investigation right now with those 15 child sex crimes that you talked about, Sarah. And in a criminal complaint, it said that he is accused of having sexual encounters with a teen on campus, and that he would exchange alcohol for news with underage students. Now, I talked to the school board exclusively, and their communication director sent a statement, and they basically said that in short that they know it's a lot going on and they can't speak on everything because of legal reasons, but they said they will have an update soon. Now, Eric and Sarah, of course, I'm going to be waiting for that update, and I will be the first to tell you about it when we do get that update. But tonight at 10, I'm going to tell you about what the school board said, and I'm also going to break down these asks that the parents have for the school board and the Sun Prairie Area School District.
All right, Tanasia Shaw live in Sun Prairie tonight. Tanasia, thank you. Janesville police have a man in custody who is facing charges for child sex trafficking. 29-year-old Adam Gurney faces charges for trafficking of a child enticement, and sexual intercourse with a child older than 16. On Tuesday afternoon, Janesville police received a tip from the sheriff's office down in Clay County, North Carolina. Investigators say Gurney had traveled to Clay County, met a teenage girl, and then brought her back to Janesville. Police say they went to Gurney's home and saw the two get into a car together. They arrested him. The teen is now back with her father.
A man is facing several charges after he allegedly threatened people with a gun last night. It happened at Tenney Park Beach, where Madison police responded to the shelter on Sherman Avenue. 2 victims rented this shelter for a birthday party when they heard a man and a woman arguing loudly. When a group of adults at the party tried to intervene, the man allegedly pulled out a handgun, loaded it, and pointed it at one of the victims, telling them he'd shoot anyone. Several adults and children at the party ran away from the scene while the man paced to the parking lot. By the time officers arrived, only 12 people remained in what was a full shelter. The man was trying to leave the parking lot, and after a struggle, police arrested him. The department says its officers found a gun and drugs on the man. He's now booked at the Dane County Jail.
After an 8-day trial, a jury has acquitted 2 brothers in a deadly shooting. Denarian and Denevia Ward were charged in the death of 22-year-old Quantrell Vargas. Prosecutors say the shooting stemmed from a planned drug deal where Denarian and Ryland English tried to rob Vargas. They allege Denevia Ward lied to officers when asked about the shooting. English is accused of firing the gun and is now serving 10 years in prison. Well, we turn to weather now. How long will the dry conditions stick around? We go to meteorologist Blaze Keller in our first warn forecast.
And it looks like just through most of the day on Friday, starting in the evening hours onwards through about Tuesday night, really, we're going to be dealing with the chance for showers and thunderstorms. The good news is we at least lose the severe weather threat as we go further into the weekend. But for now, we do have an isolated or marginal risk for severe weather for any anybody in the green. So that's a lot more of our coverage area as compared to the few in our coverage area underneath the yellow, or that slight scattered chance for severe weather. That would include parts of Juneau, Adams County, as well as across Monroe and northern parts of Vernon County. Let's take a look at future track and time out these storms Friday night into Saturday. We're looking at mainly after the midnight hour going into early Saturday. Those showers and thunderstorms traveling along a cold front out of Minnesota and northwestern Wisconsin, moving their way south and eastward as we go overnight through the mid to late morning hours on Saturday. Then we warm on up back into those upper 80s to low 90s. So it is going to be a stormy start and then a hot and humid end to Saturday. The threats, the main one is going to be strong winds, then followed by hail and heavy rain, but we can't rule out an isolated weak tornado either. So stay with News 3 Now. We'll keep you updated. We're timing out those other rain chances in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. A Milwaukee area Democrat is joining the race for governor. Ryan Sternad is a union member and lobbyist. He has worked at both American Family Field and County Stadium since back in 1988. Sternad became active with the Workers United Union while also founding a political action committee and lobbying group called Drinks in the Seats. On the Democratic side, Sternad joins Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez and the relatively unknown Zachary Roper. The three Republican candidates are Bill Berrien, Andrew Mansky, and Josh Schoeman. The primary election will take place next August. Well, it's that time of the year where back-to-school shopping is underway, and not just for parents. About 90% of teachers have to reach into their own pockets to get supplies for their students.
But as our Ellie La Liberté shows us, one Madison organization is looking to fill that gap.
What I always say is, it's the little things that matter.
Laura Glob, the lead social worker with the Madison Metropolitan School District, knows this is a busy time of year.
We have to navigate making sure that all of our students are ready for school.
And making sure they're ready can cost a pretty penny. The Madison Public School Foundation estimates MMSD teachers collectively spend about $1.5 million a year out of pocket to meet basic student needs.
We thought that was kind of silly. Like, what other profession requires you to spend your own money to set up for your own professional work?
Tom Qualls, the community engagement director, says that's where the Teacher Support Network was born. The network delivers supplies to all 52 Madison schools year-round. School staff get to decide what they need, from basic supplies to snacks to hygiene products. This year, the foundation is looking to raise $350,000, about $25,000 more than last year.
So we've still got a long way to go in terms of covering that entire teacher out-of-pocket spend gap, but we're chipping away at it.
Chipping away by chipping in.
So just having those little things from the community really matters so that students can have their full embracing of learning in the classroom.
And if you're interested in donating to the Teacher Supply Network, just visit schoolsmakemadison.org. Reporting in Madison, Ellie La Liberté, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. Budgets for Madison schools range from $1,100 to $6,300. The amount varies based on factors like size of the student body, percent of students experiencing homelessness, and the number of students eligible for free and reduced lunch. Well, there are only 2 days left in the News 3 Now's Stuff the Bus campaign. In partnership with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County, we're helping local students start the school year ready to succeed. Until Friday, tomorrow, we're collecting essential school supplies to support hundreds of students across the county. You can help by leaving donations at our drop-off sites or by donating online. All of the information is at channel3000.com. Well, coming up on News 3 Now at 6, how the Dane County Regional Airport is looking to get more federal funding.
Plus, scientists are saying Madison's lakes are a little sick. What's plaguing them and what we need to do to make them healthy again. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. Leaders with the Dane County Regional Airport are making changes in an effort to get more federal funding. The airport is voluntarily withdrawing the draft of a previously submitted noise compatibility program. The plan is to resubmit this with changes that will better position the airport to receive federal funding. The airport director cited that and other reasons, including a lack of coordination with surrounding partners, for why the airport is pulling back right now. A statement on the matter reads, quote, "Taking the time to step back, evaluate our process and work closely with local stakeholders ensures our noise plans are aligned and realistic to maximize federal and state funding opportunities. The county, city, and Wisconsin National Guard must speak with one united voice collectively. Our voice for support is louder as one." Well, it may not be news to many of us that Madison's lakes get a bit dirty, but scientists are going as far to say they're a little sick.
Now, last year, more Dane County beaches were closed than in any of the past 10 years. Armand Rahman joins us now with more on what's plaguing our troubled waters and what we need to do to take care of them. Armand?
Yeah, Eric and Sarah, the lakes in our area contribute roughly $220 million to the greater Madison economy. So if they have symptoms, odds are we're feeling it too in a lot of other ways. That's why limnologists or lake doctors will regularly go out on Lake Monona, Mendota, Wingra, and Fish Lake to test the water quality, plant and animal life, and more. I got to join one of these data collection trips. It also allows them to measure how much efforts to mitigate nutrient runoff from farms, lawns, and cities are doing.
150 to 200 years of activity in the catchment surrounding Lake Mendota has led to what we're experiencing today. The good news is that the decisions that we make today and the changes that we make today in the catchment and in the lake itself will have benefits for the generations that come. There does need to be a comprehensive nutrient management plan that happens at the landscape level.
Agriculture is also a big contributor to nutrient runoff in local waterways. Representatives with Clean Wisconsin tell me with 30,000 farms in the Yahara watershed, more younger farmers are trying out new practices to address water runoff, but they need consistent financial support from the legislature. More on that in my story tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
All right, looking forward to it, Armand. Thank you. And still ahead, many parents are gearing up to see their children leave the nest. Sarah and I can relate, and we'll share some ways they can cope with this sudden change.
Plus, Americans are now drinking alcohol at record low levels, what a new poll is revealing about the downward trend.
And we could see some storms by the time we get to the weekend. Blaze is back. His complete forecast after a short break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Americans are now drinking alcohol at the lowest levels in decades. A new Gallup poll found just 54% of U.S. adults said they drink alcohol, the lowest number reported in the poll's history, in fact. It comes as a record 53% of Americans said drinking even in moderation is bad for your health. Researchers also noted a steep decline in drinking among young adults from 59% in 2023 to 50% today.
This demographic is growing up with more messaging about the health risks of alcohol in comparison to older adults who grew up with some messaging about, one glass of wine might be good for your health. There is a possibility that this age group is also using cannabis more as cannabis is becoming more legal and less alcohol.
Well, the decline in drinking has been more pronounced among women than men. According to the poll, only 51% of women reported drinking compared to 57% of men.
All right, this is a tough one. Back to school can not only be stressful for students, but also parents, especially those of us who have children leaving the house. Psychologists say when children go off to college or to a job, it's not the end of your parenting story, but the beginning of a new chapter. I'm trying not to cry. Instead of thinking of the nest as empty, consider it expanded. Also, focus on gains, not gaps. You may now have time for a hobby, learn something new, volunteer, or do some traveling.
Remember that it is not just about filling your time, but finding things that give you a sense of purpose.
So giving your home a fresh start can also help, like rearranging a room, plant new flowers, or create a space for a hobby.
I think I'm taking up knitting with my son leaving for college on Saturday. Well, keeping an eye on storm chances for Saturday. Blaze is back. Complete look at the forecast.
And we are going to be quiet this evening, but in 24 hours, we'll likely be dealing with a little bit more activity, especially across northwestern parts of Wisconsin, as the first of a couple rounds of rain move into the Midwest. So low to mid 60s tonight. You may want to open up the windows, let in some fresh air. Certainly give the AC another day of not being on, because starting Friday into Saturday, so it's just only 2 days, but our temperatures climb into the upper 80s to low 90s, so maybe a little bit humid as well. As I mentioned, beginning Friday night through at least Tuesday, we're going to be dealing with a couple rounds of showers and thunderstorms. And at times that rain could be heavy, and we'll take a look at that in just a moment. But speaking of rain, let's talk about the rain showers, hit or miss rain showers stretching along the Mississippi River, essentially from Ashland all the way south into Prairie du Chien and even further south. maybe just a couple light raindrops hitting the ground in and around Viroqua up towards La Crosse. They're petering out or drying out as they move further east. So this is likely going to be continuing over the next hour or so. And you can always track them out by using our First Warn Weather app's interactive radar. And you can track out those showers and thunderstorms throughout the weekend as well, because we're going to be dealing with that rain chance, as I mentioned, starting Friday night through at least Tuesday of next week. A cold front is going to bring in those showers and thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday. The cold front is fairly long, and that's actually going to help it stall out because it's not close enough to the low pressure system to really circulate some of that cooler air. So it stalls out. And much like what we saw this past weekend, that stalled out front environment really does help create shower and thunderstorm chances over areas several times. Looking at the precipitable water forecast as we go into the weekend, we're looking at another very saturated atmosphere with 2 to maybe 2.5 inches of rain possible. And again, that's if we wrung out the entire atmosphere. But all of this will be pushing off towards the south and east as we go into Wednesday. A high pressure system moves on in. So most of these rain totals are coming in as we go into the weekend and into the start of next week. So somewhat over a short duration of time, we're looking at likely 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch of rain, or excuse me, 3/4 inch of rain, about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain, where we start to see the blues meet the purples, and then where the purples meet the red, that's where we're getting into 2.5 to maybe 4 inches of rainfall. But in terms of an excessive rainfall outlook, unlike last weekend when we got into the high category, we're going to stay in the low to medium, not only through the weekend, but into the start of next week. So because we've been so saturated over the last couple of days, to say the least, you may want to bring out the sub pumps again, clear out the drains, just because, again, we've had so much water and we're going to get even more water. Minor flooding looks to be an issue, but the good news is we at least look to remain dry Wednesday through that following weekend.
I like that following weekend.
Yeah, those 70s are going to be nice.
Nice. Thanks, Blaze.
Blaze, thanks. We'll be right back with sports. Stay with us. No, we hope you're hungry. Next Wednesday's the big day because of the Brewers winning 12 straight. George Webb's Restaurants giving away all those free burgers, all 23 locations in Wisconsin. It'll be August 20th, 2 to 6 p.m. Now, they've ordered 25,000 pounds of burger meat to prepare for this giveaway. They're expecting about 200,000 patties given away. Price tag expected to reach just short of $1 million for the restaurant. The burgers and the streak have the city energized, and that's something the players appreciate.
It's unbelievable. I mean, like the 3 midweek games, aren't usually packed out like that. So just seeing them come out and, we understand that, they work hard and pay for tickets to come watch us play, that, it really does mean the world to us. And even going back to when it was flooded out there and the parking lots were closed, seeing everybody come out for that, like it's unbelievable.
They've been fun to watch. And in Packers news, Jordan Love remains out of practice during preseason practice this week.
Senior Packers writer Jason Wilde brings us today's training camp update.
The Packers are practicing right now in Indianapolis, but Jordan Love is not. Now, he is there. He's got his red number 10 non-contact jersey on. He's also wearing a cast on his left hand after undergoing surgery to repair some ligament damage in his left thumb, his non-throwing hand. So he is not practicing. However, head coach Matt LaFleur told reporters in Indy that he will, in some form or fashion, be able to practice next week. At least that is the hope. But again, it will be a process to get him back ramped up after injuring that thumb during the preseason opener against the New York Jets last Saturday. Packers will continue their practice with the Colts, and then they will play the Colts in their second preseason game on Saturday from Lucas Oil Stadium. We'll have all the coverage at channel3000.com for free. And of course, you want to sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers our Packers coverage to your inbox every single day. That's it from here. Back to you in the studio.
Great, Jason. Thank you. Let's get to planning now. The Bucks unveiled their schedule for the upcoming season, which starts October 22nd at home against the Washington Wizards. It's a prime slate over the course of the season, featuring 22 weekend games at Pfizer. It's before they wrap the regular season on April 12th in Philadelphia.
Well, maybe this is a sign to buy your wall calendar for 2026 because the Badger women's hockey team released its schedule today. The defending national champions will open their season at Bemidji September 26th. They'll raise the banner at LeBon the following week when they host the Maine Black Bears. And then the regular season wraps up February 21st. The national title game, which we expect them to be there, that'll be March 22nd at Penn State, University Park, Pennsylvania. They usually are there. And thanks for watching us. So we're going to go to Blaze for a final check of the weather.
Yes, it's going to be a hot and humid Saturday. Upper 80s to low 90s. Should stay mostly clear. Showers begin to move in by the evening and continue overnight into Friday, into Saturday. That's when we could be dealing with some severe weather. And then that rain sticks around through at least Tuesday of next week. Stay with News 3 Now. We'll keep you updated, as obviously I think the flooding concern is still very much in everyone's mind. And we'll send those alerts on social media and to your phone.
All right.
Good. Thanks, Blaze.
Blaze, thanks. And I'll thank you once again for joining us for News 3 Now at 6. Coming up next is Entertainment Tonight.
Our next show, of course, at 10 o'clock. We hope you'll join us. You can also find us streaming all the time, 24/7 on Channel 3000+. See you back here at 10 o'clock.